We need to scale up first a private investment in Africa, taking more advantage of the African private sector. And in this context, the World Bank Group wants to be an active part, not only of the discussions, but also of the action. Therefore, we call this as an action-driven event, because we don't only want to talk, we want to also develop business, how we can help. The advantage of the World Bank Group is that we have a very strong private sector arm, that is the International Finance Corporation. It's also MIGA that provides guarantees, and they are strong partners how we work together. So this is one purpose, is to boost further investment in Africa.
Right. A lot of critics of such forums always say that at the end of the day, people go back at it's business as usual, they end up being talk shop, but you say that it is an action-oriented forum. So what sort of mechanism have been put in place to ensure that whatever comes out of this forum is actually practiced in action to the latter?
Well, the reason is that why we say it's action-oriented is because we come with money. And first we have the fund for the low-income countries, is IDA, where we have mobilized $75 billion for 3 years. That's globally, but $45 billion will go to Africa. We have committed over $15 billion in the first year. In that package, there is also a private sector window of $2.5 billion that is explicitly meant to de-risk private investment. That is led by the IFC and MIGA, but the main part is done by the International Finance Corporation. They are developing projects as we speak. We have, for example, in the first couple of months of its activity, IFC has developed about $200 million worth of deals, and that with all its own financing as well as mobilization is worth $1.6 billion of investment. So the IFC is not talking, it's doing, and we were, even as we have this forum, we're talking about new opportunities in Rwanda and elsewhere in East Africa.
Right. What sort of opportunities have you seen in Rwanda, to be specific?
Here we have been talking about housing, but it is, as you see, there are the three topics that have been chosen together with the authority is agribusiness, hugely important, tourism, as well as housing, affordable housing. And we are working all across Africa. Recently, we did a deal for in West Africa to provide long-term housing finance. I think these are the things where sometimes the risks are there, or where basically the long-term maturity structure is not there because it's difficult to get. So therefore, this private sector window is going to help. And we intend to make this not only a one-off initiative, but a permanent feature of our replenishment for IDA. So that is certainly billions of dollars that we are thinking that can place. Last word on that, you say, well, what can the IFC do? We have recently negotiated a big capital increase package for the World Bank, but also for IFC. And IFC is going to expand very strongly into the low-income countries, and particularly in Africa. So that is good news. It comes from the public sector, from the replenishment, where we will invest $45 billion. On top of it, we'll have massive investments coming into Africa from IFC. So we are very bullish on this, but we want not only to have that sentiment shared in conferences, we want to share that with investors, and we hope that they are having the same sentiment as we, that we're optimistic and that we can together increase the private investments in Africa.
Right. Before I let you go, finally, there's been an issue of farmers hearing this word of de-risking the agriculture sector, but they cannot keep waiting all along, because you say that the money is there. So what should the financing institutions be doing as we speak as far as de-risking is concerned?
Well, I think this is basically the challenge for all parties. When I'm talking about partnership, it's not just to say, well, here's money and then hope for the best. You need to address what are the specific challenges that can be sometimes regulatory, it's going to be policy related, can be financial related, can be also infrastructure related. There are different ones. What we are saying is, I don't have here the whole analysis in front of me, but I think we have here a lot of people who can actually identify it, deal with it, and then see how that money can be best employed. I think what is the main thing is you need also to have the willingness to listen to each other, address the problems so that you get the best results. At the end of the day, why are we here? Is not only to raise that investment, but what we are seeing as in the World Bank, behind the investment are people, and that is job creation. We think we need to help in the job creation in Africa. There is a huge challenge that actually every year at least 11 million jobs, new jobs need to be created. That means we need to be there, that investment is not seen as something cute. It is basically providing livelihood for a lot of people who are waiting for jobs. So therefore, let's think every time we are engaged, what are the challenges, as you say, in the agriculture sector, can also be in tourism or in those areas, and address some of the underlying issues, but then also come with the capital to provide at least the hope and the prospects for job creation.
Public-private partnerships or public-private corporations? Which one do you go for?
I think the way the World Bank thinks is that is in our DNA. We think of partnerships, we think of cooperation, we see of win-win solutions. We think that multilateral institutions can be extremely helpful, but as concerns the World Bank, we are big believers in Africa.